part of an inspection, what I do is I would remove the electrical panel as you see here. Now there's a couple of issues with this panel. Each circuit breaker should have one wire or one circuit that it protects. In this panel we see that there's this wire, or this breaker and this breaker have two wires that are fed from it. Now there's a couple of things that can happen. This is called double tapping. There's a couple of things that can happen. First of all, you could end up with nuisance tripping, which means that you'll turn on the television and the lights in the bedroom will go off for no reason because there's twice the demand on each breaker now than what it was designed to carry. The other more serious implication is if this breaker fails, there's twice the demand and twice the heat going into that breaker and potentially could cause a panel fire. So what I would do in this instance is I would recommend that an electrician come along, add a couple of breakers. There is room for this in this box to put a couple of breakers in. Take each one of those wires, give them their own breaker. It's a very easy, simple fix, and it will protect you from a potential fire. Hi, right now I'm looking at a furnace as a regular part of an inspection. One of the things that I will look for in here is to make sure that in and around the burner area that there's no heat scorching, or that there's been an overflow of exhaust and that the inside of the cabinet is scorched or stained by carbon monoxide. Also, I will take a look at the date to verify the actual age of the furnace. In the bottom, I'll make sure that there's no corrosion. And also, I will operate the furnace, and quite often bearings in this little draft motor will get a little bit rough, and sometimes the bearings in the furnace motor will get rough, so I'll make sure that none of that is actually happening. I will check to make sure that the thermostat is actually working, that the furnace comes on with the operation of the thermostat. I will also check the venting, which is the exhaust venting. I'll make sure that the condition is correct, that there are no leakages allowing carbon monoxide in, and that all the connections are good, that the slopes are correct, so that it does actually provide proper exhausting. I will also check to make sure that there is provision for intake air, fresh air from the outside, which will allow the furnace and the water heater to have combustion air from the outside. If this isn't here, what happens is it actually pulls air in from the windows and the doors, cooling the house off while it's heating it up. And I'll also make sure that there is a fresh air intake to the distribution system so that you're not breathing stale air, so that there's healthy air in the house exchanged at the proper amount. Right now I'm doing an inspection on a water heater. One of the things I will do is I will check the serial number on the tag to identify the age of the water heater. I will also look in under here, which is where the burner area is. Some of the newer units are sealed, so you can't actually get in there, which ultimately means that it's a newer water heater. But when I'm in here, I will check to make sure that there's not an excess amount of corrosion, rust, debris, any of that kind of thing. I will also check to make sure that this temperature, this is a pressure relief valve, make sure that it's there. This one should actually have a downspout that is attached to it, because what this thing does is it will prevent a steam explosion should the burner actually not switch off and just keep boiling the water. I will also check while I'm down here all the gas fittings to the water heater, the gas valve itself, and to the furnace for gas leaks. I have a sniffer, and it will detect any sort of gas leakage so that your house doesn't blow up.